Welcome back to the Casting Cost cEDH podcast. I'm Blake.
I'm Chase, and today we're covering the cEDH 16 SummerSlam event that took place this past weekend.
Where did it take place at?
I don't know, where did it take place at?
That's all you, buddy.
Is that... we had to look up the pronunciation of this before we started. So this took place at Issaquah, Washington. And this was a 64-player event that took place this past weekend with a kind of interesting top 16
I agree.
turnout. So you ready to get started?
Absolutely.
All right. So in 16th place, we have Riley Turner on Rogsai with 1 win and 3 losses. So let's take a look at this list.
Rogsai. Looks like man. Okay, everybody's picking up VV in the 99. If you can play, like, it's just such a good ritual, dude.
Yeah, it's a good ritual.
3 mana, and then you just start making cracked amounts of mana.
Well, I do remember, like, I was having some conversations with Jake. Jake from State Farm.
Jake from State Farm.
Jake from State Farm. And I think he actually cut VV from his Blue Farm list because I think he was talking about it. It just kind of felt like more of a win more card. But seeing it in Rogsai actually kind of seems pretty
correct.
Cool. Yeah. That seems pretty good. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, aside from seeing the VV, I mean, the other, I don't know would you say Mockingbird is something that typically pops up in a Rogsai list? Maybe Rongsai.
I don't think I normally see it in a list, but I don't think that it's a bad include. I mean, it's such a good
if
card.
anything, like if they're trying to go fast and like if they're doing multiple wheel stuff, like they just copy their Bowmaster and then just like continue to shoot the table for a bunch of damage. So
yeah,
I don't think that's bad whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, heck, dude, there's plenty of times too where I bet another Rogsai tries to go for it, doesn't get there, and then you just clone the Thassa's and call it a day.
Probably.
Or, I mean, hear me out. Mockingbird in this list could essentially just be like a silence effect. Because we're starting to see a lot more people just throw down Voice of Victories and throw down Grand Abolishers and then just pass the turn, which I think is wild play behavior, but whatever. Why?
I've been guilty of it at times, but no, I kind of agree with you. Like, you might as well copy someone's Grand Abolisher if they throw it out there.
Might as well. No, I mean, I definitely agree. But yeah.
Well, especially if like Voice and Grand Abolisher being like really prominent in the format. If someone goes Mockingbird for 1 and then there's a bunch of targets that it could be, it's just like, which one are they going for here? Are they going for the Bowmaster? Are they going for, I don't know, whatever they want to at that point. But
you're saying like X equals 1?
X, yeah.
Okay, I got you. I was confused. But yeah.
Because then it'll copy the Bowmaster, copy of Grand Abolisher, Voice of Victory, basically anything that you need.
Yeah, no, that's sick. Other than that, I think that this, again, like, it looks like standard Rogsai. Not to say that is like a bad way. I do think that
I don't think this looks like standard Rogsai.
Why am I going to, did I get down?
You got a little ahead of yourself, I think. Hold on. I could just be stupid and missing out. No, never mind. I'm just stupid and missing out on things. But there are a couple of different things that I noticed.
Yeah. What you noticing?
Well, one, even though I know most Rogsai lists have picked up the Valley Flood color, I don't think that most are playing the Retraction Helix.
I would agree with that.
But if you're going to include VV in the 99, might as well have this backup combo where you just like shoot the table for damage.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fitting there. Not used to seeing Dramatic Reversal.
That was something else I was noticing that was like a little bit interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and for the most part, the rest of it seems pretty standard. What I was thinking was kind of off was I wasn't seeing the ad nauseum. I think I'm used to seeing it in like alphabetical order. It is based on CMC, so it's down here at the bottom.
Gotcha.
But there's another very interesting piece of tech here in the artifact and enchantment package.
Are we back on Mind Crank?
They are on Mind Crank,
bro. Is Sensei's top normally in?
I would say that it's not. I feel like what we have seen more recently in Rogsai, as far as like an artifact at the 1 spot, aside from like Mana Vault and Sol Ring and Springleaf Drum, has been Vexing Bauble. I'm not seeing that in this list. So top is interesting, but it also kind of makes sense. Like,
Are we gonna see like a counterbalance Rog side?
I don't think so. Scroll down just a little bit. Spoilers.
Nah.
No.
Okay,
Okay, good.
Blood Chief though.
Yeah, but the Blood Chief Ascension is
For the
there.
Mind Crank.
I would say like the top. I could almost see like, because they're also on the One Ring. I wonder if like including the top is like, okay, let's make sure that we're hitting whatever draws we need to if we're gonna have to push into like this mid range plan. Like, yeah, they're still playing like very aggressive, but it looks like they've included some pieces here to like, hey, if it goes into late game, whether that's VV, Valley Flood Caller stuff, the Mind Crank, Blood Chief Ascension type things. We're seeing the One Ring in this list. I don't think Sensei's top is bad, especially if you're wanting to hit particular things. Just looking at your top 3 cards and being like, okay, I need this card right now. Let me draw this.
Can you? Okay, here. I might be missing something. I don't know. Is Mount Doom a common card for
Roxai? Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I would say it's pretty common. That's what I've noticed, but what does not seem very common is the fact that they are on 28 lands. Yeah. That's kind of wild to me, but like I think that it kind of goes into what I was just saying there with the trying to go into like more of this mid-range plan, because if you look at it, the lands that are actually really special in this build are going to be the Manamo. And that might be it.
Look at this Blazemire Verge.
They're on the
Verges,
Gloom Lake Verge too. So I guess we're starting to see the Verges kind of take off in decks outside of just like Kinnan. Because the Simic one is actually really good in Kinnan. They're on Mistrise Village, which is also interesting. Yeah, but being able to make use of the Manamo to untap the ring. And just being able to draw more cards, being able to do Mountain Doom ought to also take advantage of the ring if you kind of have to like sacrifice it for any reason. But you also have the Mox Opal, which is legendary, so that also works.
That's true. This is cool. A neat list.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of similarities compared to what we are used to seeing in this deck, but there's some interesting tweaks that I think just kind of push it into the mid-range game.
I would love to just ask a Rockside pilot if Blood Chief Mind Crank is actually doing anything for them. Like, I'm just curious. Not saying that it's not. I am just genuinely curious. But I guess in this list, it's probably a lot easier to hit because of things like VV. Like, you might just get like some incidental damage in. Like, especially if even like an opponent's running a VV, like you're just like, oh yeah, that triggers my Blood Chief. Like, tick up. And then somebody casts a spell, and then you're just like on your turn, you're like, I guess I'll just play this Mind Crank.
Yeah. I mean, even Blood Chief Ascension on its own kind of goes okay with like Brain Freeze stuff. Because if you have the counters on that and then you start Brain Freezing people out, like you're dealing more damage to them. Maybe it's just like a faster way of killing the table. But yeah, I don't know. Definitely very intriguing to see some of these pieces in this Rogsai list. But nonetheless, congratulations on your 16th place finish. So in 15th place, we have, I don't know, I'm going to say Lewis.
Sounds good.
There's no last name there. So Lewis or Louis, depending on what part of the country you're from, is on Rionia Fire Dancer with 2 wins and 3 losses. So this is interesting because this is not typically a card that we think of as being the commander. This is typically an Atali card. So what do we have going on here?
I mean, you're seeing like good stuff like the Goblin Welder, which are just like good artifact type things. Fear of Missing Out, I've noticed, is like been a little bit better, or like been an interesting include in a couple of these like red lists. I'm not gonna lie, like off the bat, just looking at it, it kind of looks like a bunch of cards from what you would see in like a KEFKA type list. But then as I get further down, I'm like, oh, here we go. There's a Godo.
Yeah.
Godo. There's the Combat Celebrant. Oh, okay. That makes total sense. What am I talking about?
What?
Because like you're gonna make hasty versions of these cards, and then you're gonna move to combat, and then like for these ones, like you can exert the Combat Celebrant, do another combat, and like untap stuff, and then Rionia is gonna do it again and do it again. If you have the Godo, you're gonna make copies of Godo, do it again, do it again, do it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, no, this list all of a sudden made way more sense, and then a lot of just like good value. I see the Dual Caster Mage, it sucks because I feel like I don't want to be the guy that's like taking too much time to like read each card, and then I'm like, ooh, this is my first time seeing the list. But yeah, anything that you want to add on to it?
Well, something that I guess I'm kind of looking at is like, say for example, like this Fanatic Amogus is here. I know you were just kind of looking at it, and then like the Treasonous Ogre, and obviously we haven't like gone down on anything, but like between those two and the Sticker Goblin, like what is our big mana like payoffs? Because if we make multiple copies of those things and then we're doing it during combat and we don't have a way of dumping that mana into something, we're just gonna lose it, right?
Yeah.
Like so.
I mean, it's what are you asking like what are the big mana payoffs for these cards that are making like big ritual type stuff?
Yeah.
Oh well, I mean, if we go down a little bit further,
Okay.
Fury of the Horde seems like a really big spell. Exile 2 red cards from your hand rather than pay its cost. Untap all creatures, do some more stuff. So never mind, that's free. I don't know what the heck I was thinking. What is this? March of Reckless Joy. Exile top X cards of your library. You may play 2 of those cards until end of turn. So I guess dig deeper.
Yeah, March. Really, with the way the timing it is, it's gonna be that March of Reckless Joy, and then I think you just saw the Invoke Cole. No, that's not an X spell either.
Brother, I don't know. I thought I knew. I don't know.
Well, and part of it, like, you know, if you're looking at like the Fury of the Horde, the Seize of the Day, the Relentless Assault, like those are all things that are going to be like that's all sorcery speed stuff. Now in the enchantments, it can be a little bit different. Yeah. So I feel like this is where the payoff is. The Aggravated Assault, they just dump all that red mana into the Aggravated Assault. Like you make copies of like the Sticker Goblin or whatever. You need to be able to make more copies of it through the Reonia ability as you get additional combats and so on. So that makes a little bit more sense seeing that there. I just wasn't sure if there was anything else, either creature-wise or anything like that you would see, because I guess even this deck is kind of way out there compared to what we're used to seeing. But like in the format right now, whether it's like you're doing like the value engine stuff or you're doing like these creature combo things, usually there's some kind of other payoff at times within the creature combo packages if you are doing more creature stuff, and I didn't see it up there. But the Aggravated Assault makes a lot more sense, I think, in that you're just trying to do a bunch of combat things. We got a bunch of we got the Dualcaster stuff. Were they on Underworld Breach? Not yeah, they are on
Breach.
Yeah, they're on Breach as well. So I mean, it's definitely a cool list. Like definitely seeing like a mono red list, like just doing its thing that mono red wants to do at times, which is like just make a bunch of like hasty things and swing out. Whether we've seen that in Godo or, you know, we've seen Krinko kind of pop up at times and things like that. But you know, that's definitely pretty cool. Is there anything else that you're seeing on here, or
nothing else? I just think it is interesting to see how many like how many utility type lands that they are running in the list for it just being a monocolored deck. So that was just something that I wanted to notice. But yeah, that was just something I wanted to point out. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I think Blood Moon being like the only like true STAX piece, I think makes sense. Yeah, I mean it's cool. It's cool to see something different kind of pop up here, like in this mono red, because typically we are just seeing like either Godo or like Magda.
Yeah.
So yeah, Reonia. Who would have thought that? But that's pretty dope. So anyway, congrats, Lewis, on 15th place. In 14th place, we have Jay Galindo on KEFKA with 2 wins and 3 losses. Let's take a look at this KEFKA list. What all we got here?
It looks like they're real heavy into, like, they're playing a lot of the clones that are going to allow them to copy the KEFKA, so like Flesh Stew, Phyrexian Metamorph, but not running things like Fimage. I'm guessing because you can't target it with like the kitten abilities and stuff like that. Playing Go-Go, so it looks like this version so far.
It's getting really heavy into the KEFKA ETB and attack.
Yeah. Just from what I'm noticing. Moving down the list just a little bit. It looks like they're just running really, really good Grixis cards as far as like the sorceries, instants. They're running the Essence Flux. I feel like that obviously makes sense. They're running the Retraction Helix, Valley Flood Color, Line. Wait, I'm tripping. Yeah, Valiflood card.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like you. I'm used to seeing an alphabetical. Everything else. What is this? Disrupting Shoal.
It's a counterspell.
Cool. That's cool. Dismember, MBT, Ghostly Flicker seems really, really good. Yeah, I mean, they're just running a really interactive Grixis shell, it looks like. And you still got access to the Thassa Tainted Pact or Thassa Consult type line.
They are, and like looking at the enchantments, they are also on the Waste Not stuff. I think we covered that like a week or so ago in the other KEFKA list that we saw. Like that being a way of accruing additional value off of these ETBs or attack triggers. I think it's kind of cool that they are on the Still Enchantment, Amphibian Downpour, and the Copy Enchantment in this.
I like that they're on Glasses of Urza.
Yeah, I did notice that one as well. I was like, that's cool.
You see what else they're on?
What? Fuck that card.
Yeah. I guess it is a good card.
No.
No.
No, it's not a good card. But they're on the Curse Totem. It's an okay card. It's relevant at times. And if you want to know the reason why I'm saying that, go check out our episode that's coming out next week. And you'll learn why Chase is not very hyped up on Curse Totem. So
it's his favorite cEDH card.
Oh my God.
But yeah,
that's it. Yep.
For the most part, I mean, it just looks like this version is just toss a consult, run some breach stuff, and then double up on KEFKA things. So, I mean, you have fast Grixis, mid-range Grixis.
KEFKA's doing work.
Yep.
KEFKA's doing work. So congrats on 14th place. All right. In 13th place, we have Jalen Ford on Stella Lee wild card with 2 wins, 2 losses, and a draw.
Good old Stella. I think VV in Stella makes perfect sense.
It's wild.
Yeah. I'm surprised that we're not seeing stuff like, I guess you got to build a specific way to like really take advantage of Rail. But I still feel like even Rail could potentially be a good include in stuff like this. Just because, I mean, obviously, like let me take a quick look because I could be wrong. Like, but Rail just being able, even though Rail, you may not get the full effect of something like Rail. In like the list, you still have that nice ability of, or that nice feature of making your instants and sorceries cost 1 less. So it's a little bit easier for Stella to like storm off. If you do get the luxury of like flipping the Rail and just exiling a bunch of stuff, being able to cast it for free, you should probably just win the game at that point.
Probably. VV
include seems really good. Running like the MDFCs and stuff like that. That definitely just makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, having this Teardrop Kami and Marvin as additional ways of being able to either with the Teardrop sacking it and untapping the Stella so that way you can do things again. Marvin being able to copy the Stella ability there seems pretty good. I mean, obviously they had the Valley Flood Caller stuff because I think they're on both Banishing Knack and Retraction Helix within this. Yep, they're on both of those. Just a lot of just like draw spells, just storming off, tutoring for things.
Yeah.
It is doing the Stella Lee thing.
It is doing the Stella Lee thing.
I think the only thing that I'm not seeing that I've seen in lists, I saw this from the Stella Lee guy that was about a couple months ago now when we went through the decades. I think he was on like the 1,000-year elixir, I think, to be able to untap Stella. I'm not seeing that here.
Yeah. It looks like they're just opting for the Leyline of Anticipation. I don't know if you saw that either. But
spicy.
I know. But yeah, no, it looks like they're just opting for more of the creature package to be doing that. And I guess that makes sense because like it's harder to interact with those types of things. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
There's only so many creature counters that you're going to find in the game. So I mean, I think that just makes sense. Yeah, I think this is a cool little list, but I mean, it's kind of what we've come to know of Stella Lee. It's cool to see that she's still doing well. It seems like Izzet's gotten a lot of fun little.
Izzet has gotten some cool stuff here recently.
Yeah, so it's cool to see it still doing really, really, really well. Obviously, Twisted Fealty as a finisher in the list and other stuff. Yeah, this is really cool. I like this list. This is neat.
All right, congrats on 13th place finish. So now we're on one of your favorite commanders. We have Jack Myers on KORVOLD Fakehurst King in 12th place with 2 wins, 2 losses, and a draw.
Look, man, I have no hate towards KORVOLD. I just suck with KORVOLD. Jun, I like Esper. I don't do well with Jun. Okay, I like Azorius plus shells. This is not This is like the polar opposite.
This is the polar opposite of it. But
Yeah.
I think the thing that stands out to me right away is that this is the KORVOLD lands.
Yeah, this looks like Landfall KORVOLD.
Yeah.
Kyle from That's a Good Card. He plays the Landfall, like his Regicide Landfall KORVOLD list. And I feel like a lot of lists and a lot of people on KORVOLD have started to like pick up this tech. Eric Taylor, like he's always with like Matthew from Lamore's cards on the like the learning cEDH stuff. He has been one of like the biggest KORVOLD pilots for a while, and I don't think he's quite on the Landfall stuff yet, unless he's made some of those changes. But it seems like a lot of people are testing out this Landfall KORVOLD's list. It's just able to sack so many permanents and like just let you dig and dig and dig and dig and dig and like do fast jump things.
Now, is the Chatterfang Warren Soul Trader stuff is with like I'm assuming the Ruthless Technomancer, is that part of this lands list typically, or is this an additional line that's kind of in here?
I think it is typically a part of it. So the Chatterfang Warren Soul Trader, obviously, like just being able to get every single time you're sacking one of the scrolls, you're getting a draw off the KORVOLD, it's getting bigger, and then also when you sack the treasures, you get more cards. So this is typically like a list that you're gonna see. You can also do some like fun like Life from the Loam shenanigans in the list with like LED and like other stuff like that, which I'm assuming they're probably gonna be on Life from the Loam, especially if they're on the dredge stuff. But yeah, typically you're gonna see like a Chatterfang Warren Soul Trader line in the list because essentially it says, hey, you're on KORVOLD. If KORVOLD comes down early, you're gonna get to see like 35 cards for the Chatterfang scrolls that are getting sacked, and if you sack all your treasures, then you're going to get to see like another 35, 40 cards, you know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to lose with 80 cards in your hand.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, and even whenever I instantly saw 6 there, I was just like, okay, they're on Life for the Loam as well. Yeah,
I think that Lively Dirge, a lot of the reanimate stuff, just trying to get Lumra back from the graveyard to like keep milling cards. I like the inclusion of the Ruthless Technomancer in here. That's pretty sick because, I mean, technically, Lumra doesn't have any power or toughness in the graveyard.
Oh.
So, Ruthless Technomancer just being able to sack, like you sack some permanents and you sack an artifact, you get some draws off of KORVOLD, get Lumra, be able to dig deeper.
That's
and if you can make mana with the Lumra, like the lands coming in, like just some way, like netting mana, like Lotus Cobra is a good example, or like some way to like have it untapped, then yeah, you really start cooking with this list. Looking at the instants, I think that they're just running all the best instants that they can, like the Legless Noxious, Summoner's Pact, Crop Rot, Entomb, all these like really, really good instants and sorceries.
Be able to get things in the graveyard and being able to, Yeah,
it looks like they're on 2 board wipes, Toxic Deluge and Fire Covenant, which is cool.
Technically 3.
Where's
it? Culling Ritual.
Culling Ritual, yeah. I know that card's a board wipe, but I don't really see that as a board wipe. I see that as like a if I cast it and sack enough stuff, I win the game.
I feel like that's the hot take of the video. Culling Ritual is not a board wipe.
It is a board wipe, but I feel like you're not firing that off just to clear the board. You're firing that off to be like, I'm about to win.
I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This is really dope, dude. I like that. Zern Orb just cracked. This is cracked, dude. This is so sick. I don't play the Landfall version of KORVOLD.
You don't play KORVOLD at all.
Well, I still have KORVOLD together. I tried.
Do you?
Yes.
I thought you took it apart.
Well,
I thought you literally said, fuck that deck.
No, I re-sleeved it because we had to do a gameplay episode and it was in sleeves that we needed. But I did re-sleeve it. I'm just not on this version. So
fair enough.
Maybe try the Landfall KORVOLD.
Maybe. I think you'll have.
I think you should try Landfall KORVOLD since you're already on that Jund ship thing.
I like the ship.
Play KORVOLD.
Play KORVOLD? I might.
Landfall KORVOLD. There we go. That's a deck you can play. You asked the other day, what's a deck that you could play that... I mean, it wouldn't be out of your comfort zone.
Would it be something that's out of my comfort zone to play?
I don't think this would be out of your comfort zone, but I think this is something that you would enjoy.
That's a neat list. But yeah. I think that's what we're going to say for all of them today. That's a neat list.
Anything else you want to say about it?
No, I think that if anyone is playing KORVOLD, like you were kind of saying earlier, like, yeah, there may have been there's some pilots that still haven't. I think that this is going to be the one that people are going to transition more to. Yeah. For sure.
Yep.
So congrats, Jack, on 12th place. So in 11th place, we have Josh Monroe on Rogthras with 2 wins, 2 losses, and a draw.
It's Simic Rogthras.
Is it?
Simic Rogthras.
Simic Rogthras, but it's got that gamble in there, so I'm assuming it goes a little heavier into Breach.
It does
at
have
times.
Breach.
Yep. Song creation in there. All right, next.
I hate I do hate being that way, but we've covered this list so many times at this point. This is just the way that we're seeing everybody build Rogthras. I feel like I'm not seeing anything like, obviously you've got the Thundertrap Trainer at Hornoculus.
Well, I was actually about to say the Abhorrent Oculus. I feel like this is one that people are starting to pick up on a little bit more, but it's been like hit or miss on whether or not it's going to be in the predominantly Simic build that we have been seeing these past few weeks.
This is a card that if it resolves, you pretty much just win.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Like, it's so
pretty
correct.
good.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, the list is really cool. Like, obviously, like it's just kind of what we've come to know as Rogthras. Like, again, this isn't like, these videos aren't necessarily us just completely breaking down what the list is doing. It's kind of just a react video as well to like what we're seeing. And this is what we're seeing from a lot of Rogthras. Like, lots of good creatures.
And even this trend here, I'm looking at the instances too, where I think we talked about it last week, where like some of these Rogthras lists are going more into the direction of having more of the interaction and things like that. Like they're on 21 instances with a ton of counters.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and so they might not, obviously they're not on all the counters that they could be running. Like they're not on the red counters or anything like that, but like it's still nice to see that we're making this shift with this deck where it's just not so aggressive of slamming creatures and trying to get for Gaia's Cradle. It's actually planning for whatever mid game that needs to happen. Yeah, and they're interacting a little bit more. So agreed. I think that this is going to be the definitive Rogthras list that we see.
Yeah, I mean, well, we've talked about it even before. I mean, we're not seeing Kennen in the 99, and that's something that keeps popping up. Is like Kennen's just not making the cut in these lists either.
Well, they're making so much math, they don't need Kennen.
Exactly. So, but yeah, I mean, Rogthras. It's really good list. And congrats. We're not like, I don't want you to feel like we're taking away from your win, but I definitely think that this is what we've come to know as Rogthras.
Yep. So congrats. Just like we were kind of talking about that last list when we're saying that we're seeing the same things. Here in 10th place, we have another KEFKA list by Richard Ashby with 2 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw.
This is totally different than the other list.
Yep, this is very different. But that's kind of what we're seeing right now. We're seeing some different things out of KEFKA. I think that I believe, like even Bissy has kind of said here recently, like people are still trying to figure out what KEFKA is wanting to do. So where the last list, we were looking at a lot of the different like flickering stuff and making use of the ETB and the attack triggers. What do we got going on here?
Brother, this is a STAX KEFKA. Harbinger of the Seas, Magus of the Moon. I'm seeing a Notion Thief. Some of these things to like get fast, like ritualish type mana, like this Nightscape Familiar, making your spells cost, like your blue and red spells cost 1 less. So then at that point, you're just needing to get Grixis, Generator Servant, same thing. And not only that, but it also makes it to where KEFKA would have haste, so you get the ETB, then you get the attack trigger.
Yep.
We're seeing the Snapcaster line stuff. Still seeing Kitten.
Pick up of the Dothy. That's something we've seen a couple times popping up here recently.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one. I don't know if that's one that's going to stick around, but it is kind of odd that card is starting to see a little bit more play again.
I think in this list it's solid because you're forcing your opponents to pitch stuff.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like hey, I'm going to draw 3, you're going to pitch 3, but now with Dothy, I technically get to draw 3 again. Yeah. Because I get to pick from these cards that I want to use.
Yep.
So I think that's really good.
Now I'm seeing the Snapcaster. I'm seeing Hoarding Brewlord. I think Brewlord makes sense because you're probably already playing things. You're probably already doing the Dualcaster stuff, and you have Saw in Half that works with Dualcaster. Makes sense with Hoarding Brewlord. But this Snapcaster Mage, I'm going to assume that we are going to see a Gifts Ungiven pile.
Probably.
I'm just going to assume that right now. So let's keep going. If the Reanimate's there, there it is.
You said Innocent Blood.
Huh?
Innocent Blood.
Innocent Blood. What is that? Each player sacrifice. Oh, what?
Yep.
So. But yeah, with the Reanimate there. Vandal Blast.
Overload, baby. They're getting rid of everything. They're saying no more artifacts and all your lands tap for red.
Fuck you and the deck you brought. Yeah.
That would suck, dude.
Yeah, that would.
What is this, Wildfire? Each player sacrifices 4 lands of their choice.
Whoever this person is, someone hurt them.
Yeah, you're an evil.
Someone hurt them. And they're going, yeah, fuck you and the deck that you brought into this event. That's they were tired. of getting pub stopped, and they're like, "We're gonna build KEFKA, and we're gonna include all these different STAX pieces in here, and I'm gonna rip your hand apart, and then I'm gonna steal all those cards again with Dothi Voidwalker."
Yeah, this is not Turbo Grixis. This is I'm gonna make you cry, Grixis.
This is a Grixis control. I'm gonna say that that's what this is. This is more of a Grixis control than it is like an actual like Grixis mid range deck. Is what it kind of seems like. Like,
yeah. Do you think we're gonna see Blood Moon in the enchantment package?
Have you already looked ahead?
No.
What it? I'm gonna say no.
Wow.
Oh my god! Yeah, someone hurt this man.
No,
I don't.
No breach. No breach.
No breach.
Blood
Oh
Moon,
my!
no breach. What the hell is?
Whoever you are, reach out to us and let us know who hurt you recently, because this version of KEFKA is nuts. This is like we are pushing for as late at the game as we possibly can.
I thought that they would have more draws too, but no. Look at this.
No, this is just stacks out the board, and
2, 2, and 1. I mean,
they're on 33 lands.
Are they?
Yeah, that's wild.
Look at all the basics they run because they're on the Harbinger Blood Moon stuff.
Oh my god. But you know,
they even run basic swamps. Yeah. They're on 5 basics of the islands and swamps and 4 mountains.
Madman. This person has been hurt a lot. And they're not on breach. But did you see what other enchantment they're on?
The ley line?
The ley line of the void. Yeah. Yeah.
What the fuck? Dude, this is ridiculous.
I need Bissy to reach out to this person and make sure they're okay.
They're okay.
Yeah.
This is a guy who wanted to play KEFKA, and his friends were like, "You should play STAX and cEDH. It's good there." And then they took it to an event, and they were like, "Man, a top 16 in an event.
Yeah,
right. It is really good.
It is really good."
And everybody was like, "Don't ever do that again."
Wow, that's crazy. That's wild.
That's wild.
As Trevor would say.
Yeah. You know what's crazy that I'm noticing? They're on the Notion Thief. They're not on a wheel. They're not on any. I don't see a will effect. Besides Force of Will.
That's wild.
I know it is. This is fucking crazy.
They're even on Burnt Offering.
Hell yeah.
What are they trying to Burnt Offering for more mana?
They Burnt Offering the KEFKA and then cast a Brood Lord.
That's wild.
I know. This is stupid. I mean, this is cool. Don't get me wrong, but it's stupid.
Oh wait, hold on. So they Burnt Offering the KEFKA, get all that black mana for the Brood Lord, and on the ETB, even though you can convoke the Brood Lord, but on the ETB you go and grab a Reanimate or the Sawed half, make 2 copies of the Brood Lord, get the Reanimate, and you put KEFKA in your graveyard when you sacrifice it. Then you reanimate the KEFKA again and rip apart more people's hands.
What the fuck? You're an evil man.
You sick fuck.
Dude. Oh my god. Yeah. Sawn half. Yeah, you oh my god.
Yeah, this is wild.
No, what if you that's disgusting. No. No.
Yeah, someone hurt this person.
What
really
has
badly.
happened?
Yeah, that's the only thing I could kind of chalk it up to. So.
Oh my god.
All right. Wait.
Broodlord and Kitten.
That's wild.
This is disgusting. This is cool. This is probably my favorite list that I've seen of KEFKA. This is fucking amazing.
Oh, this is great. So I think we got to move on, though. Congrats, Richard, on 10th place. In 9th place, we have Alexander on Krark-Thras with 2 wins, 3 losses, and a draw.
Oh, God. It's Krark-Thras.
It's Krark-Thras?
Yeah, it looks like the Krark-Thras that we've been seeing, the one that we talked about the last couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just lots of Krark triggers. Make lots of mana with your Tavern Scoundrel, Storm Kilns. They've got the VV in the list, Harmonic Prodigy. I bet they got the Twin Flame stuff going on. Yeah, Twin Flame. being able to make a lot, like just constant like harmonic prodigies over and over and over. You can do that to win the game. What is it?
What are you looking at?
Oh, Land Grant. I was looking at it. Search the library for force card, reveal that card, put it in your hand, then shuffle. If you have no lands in your hand. You can get a forest? What would you get?
It doesn't have to be a basic forest, does it?
I don't think so.
Yeah, you just grab Trop or...
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. There it is. For a second, I wasn't seeing the duels. It's because their duels are all the way farther down.
Yeah.
Like, what?
So, yeah, again, the multiple triggers from the harmonic. So, being able to do multiple Kark flips, making a bunch of mana. They're on the EWIT, so they're on like the snap EWIT guys, cradle type stuff is what I'm assuming. Being able to utilize, and you can kind of say the same thing with the Cloud of Fairies. Like, I'm sure there's some kind of loop there as well. If they're on Cloud of Fairies, or they're just trying to untap things, maybe, and make more mana.
They're also on, like we talked about, I'm guessing they're on Snap and the EWIT, like we were talking about. So, I mean, if
you could do that with the Cloud of Fairies as well.
Yeah, just go ahead and make like just constantly loop it to make enough mana with the Guy's Cradle, just pump into Thrasios, the thing. Yeah. Cork
Thrass. And they're in VV.
VV Corkthrass.
That's wild.
Just constantly. Oh, dude, yeah, just
constantly did that. Use VV as a win con there. Yeah.
Solid. Anything else?
I'm looking through instances, seeing if there's anything there. Not too much. That kind of comes to mind. You know, just a lot of things to be able to like just make free spells or draw more cards. Like Manamorphose goes really hard in this fucking deck. Like I mean, if you win a flip, even without any of the doublers, like you make 4 mana and draw 2 cards, like that's pretty good.
If not, just loop through your deck.
Yeah,
and so, that mana every single time.
Trying to think. I mean, they're on the thumb, which I don't know if we've seen the thumb pop up here recently on like some of these lists, but if you're playing Kark, I think the thumb is pretty good.
I think we've seen some of them run the thumbs, but not all of them.
Like no, not all of them. This is neat.
Yeah,
I like it.
It
was pretty cool. So, yeah, congrats, Alexander, on 9th place. All right, in 8th place, we have Andrew McDougall on Tasigur, the Golden Fang, with 2 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw.
Wow.
Tasigur. Wow. What we got here? We got some interesting things.
I agree. Dang. Toxroll, Hoarding Broodlord, Neza Hall, Scholar of the Lost Trove, Seedborn, running Talion in the 99.
That was interesting. As far as things that I can that more so stand out to me, you know, we see the Fairy Mastermind, we have the Kennen. I kind of cheated, I looked ahead. They're on Mirror Maid, so they can do the Smothering type thing if they wanted to. You know, where they just start milling everyone out, and they have endurance here to kind of keep their own library secure and be able to do things with that. I see the Thassa's, obviously we're on Thassa's, Demonic Consultation, Tainted Pact type things. Those shenanigans. I almost feel like it's kind of interesting to see a Seedborn Muse in this type of deck, but I mean, if you're untapping everything and you have Tasigur out and you're able to like continue just feeling your graveyard for things, like you know, that's not bad. It's not as much like synergy or as much value, I feel like, as something like how Kennen can really abuse Seedborn Muse, but it's still pretty good here. Just being able to untap and interacting and doing things on other people's turns right now anyway is really, really strong and very powerful. Trying to think. We're seeing this Hoarding Broodlord again, so I'm sure there's like you do the Saw in half, and then you go get Thassa's and Tainted Pact or Demonic Consultation and be able to do the thing from there. The Scholar of the Lost Trove. That one is the one that's kind of baffling me at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't understand what the heck is happening here. Like, I'm just not smart enough apparently to know what the hell is happening. Yeah, because like I'm just looking at the lit. Like, You have things like Kitten and all, obviously, like to be able to bounce certain stuff and like reset things. But like Tasigur isn't necessarily like an ETB. You're just paying mana to like put 2 cards of your library into the graveyard and then return an on-land card of an opponent's choice. So I'm guessing, obviously, it's just a way to like continue to like fill your hand up and like get access to some of these like really good creatures and stuff like that. And then they've got the reanimate stuff like the necromancies, things like that. There is Birthing Pod in the 99, which I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I was taking a look at that.
I don't really know what's happening. I mean, it's just
there's some interesting choices here.
Yeah, I don't think any. I don't see any crazy infinite combos unless I'm just absolutely tripping. Like let me go down just to make 100% sure. I mean, there's Gaia's Cradle. We've got the Ewit and the Snap. So I guess if you can eventually get to enough creatures, you can set up an infinite, make enough mana to eventually have. Like I don't know, like you make the mana to be able to pump into Tasigur to start doing flips because it can be green or blue.
Yeah.
So I mean, eventually you can start a loop there. I mean, you do have Thassa's Oracle and all that good stuff. I don't see the Valley Flood Caller like a Banishing Act or Retraction Helix.
No, I think that's just like a more of a value Flood Caller. I think the thing I'm kind of looking for at the moment, this is what I'm curious on. Okay. Hear me out. I am looking to see if there's any kind of lines with Spellseeker, is what I am looking at. Because if we have Tasigur, if we have a way of producing the infinite colored mana, which I don't think I'm seeing. I could just be stupid.
No, I'm.
Hear me out.
I'm totally with you.
Could just be stupid, and that's probably what I'm gonna chalk it up to. I'm just dumb. But if you have a way of continuing to do some kind of Spellseeker loop while doing like Entomb, and then being able to somehow continuously like recur that, maybe. Yeah. Because you can, I mean, if you had to, you can saw in half the Spellseeker, get a couple more pieces, be able to like reanimate it. Or bring it back with the Tasigur, being able to recast it, or like getting Entomb back somehow, and then being able to like continue putting things in your graveyard that you just need.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I could see that, but you know, the Birthing Pod feels a little bit off, with the exception of like, you know, we're running 3 7-drop creatures that we can pod one of them out and then go get the Hoarding Broodlord, but that almost kind of seems odd as well. You know, Spellseeker, sacking that and then get Displacer Kitten and being able to flicker some things, I think isn't bad.
I mean, well, technically, being able to pod away your Tasigur into a Nezahal or a Scholar, or all these things, and then you untap next, and you're going to pod into the Broodlord. I guess that kind of makes sense, but like, I don't know. I'm missing something.
I'm missing something on this too.
This is all I have for that. All that stuff was all the things that I had for the deck. I don't really think I have anything else. I can't think of anything, or I'm just not seeing it. So if you are seeing it, obviously let us know.
And they're running Necromancy.
The what?
They're running Necromancy.
Yeah, I mean, well, Tasigur putting stuff in the graveyard, I think it just makes sense to try and reanimate some of this stuff.
Yeah,
because people are probably like, I don't want you to have a Hoarding Broodlord.
Yeah, but I feel like when we see Necromancy specifically, there's something.
Well, I mean, you just flash it in. I mean, I'm on it in Zur, and it's for nothing other than an instant speed Thoracle win.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. All right. Well, yeah, we're going to move on. We're not smart enough to figure out this one. So congratulations, Andrew. You have baffled us, and you got 8th place in this event. So I'm really trying hard not to say all right, because he called me out on it in one of our recent videos, and I feel like I can't say it anymore. But all right, here we are in 7th place with Ben Anderson on KEFKA. So our 3rd KEFKA list of this event, with 2 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws.
This is a different, again, this one's not even on the Harmonic Prodigy stuff.
It's not on Harmonic Prodigy?
No, this is a Hullbreaker Kitten, you know, like, just, what is KEFKA doing? It can play so many different ways.
Yeah. So I think what I've come to the conclusion on is that KEFKA is the Grixis version of SysA, where you can build it however you want to build it and do just fine with it.
Yeah.
I think that this is honestly, I'm thankful that I put this in my at least top 5 commander list from when we did that.
I think we both mentioned KEFKA. I think this is probably the worst.
You didn't even put KEFKA
I mentioned
in your top
KEFKA. No. I put KEFKA in my top 5.
Did you?
Yes. I said I wasn't sure if people would switch over to it over something like Rogsai. There was a very relevant deck that I did not put in the top 5 that ended up being a stud, and that was Terra.
And Y'shtola. I don't think either one of us.
Neither one of us put Y'shtola.
Yeah, but
I don't think
Terra's really good.
But
yeah, KEFKA. So it looks like this person is opting to continuing doing the Displacer kit and doing the Hullbreaker stuff. We're seeing Tiny Bones pop up again. That was on the AGL list as well, I believe. Okay. That's kind of neat. It kind of acts as like another Dothy in a way.
Honest question. I was asking about this. Do you think Turgid would go hard in KEFKA?
I mean, potentially, yeah. But I think that what I do like, and we're actually seeing Dothy pop up another time for this list. So Turgid might. I just think that these two in particular are easier to get out.
That makes sense.
And with Turgid, they aren't going to exile, they're just going to your board state, right? So if someone psych riffs and then they get all of their shit back and then can go off. Whereas this actually helps deal with like the breach decks where, I'm just going to basically turn off your graveyard and now you're not going to have access to those cards. It doesn't matter if I need access to those cards or not.
Yeah.
It's just I'm going to prevent you from being able to do what you need to do if you're on Blue Farm or any other like breach decks. So
agreed.
I think having them over something like a Turgid is really kind of cool. Seeing Deadpool pop up again, maybe just getting an additional ETB. Not as much of the clone effects. We're only on the Phyrexian Metamorph, but I think that's probably fine. I feel like this is definitely like in the middle of what we just saw, but this is more of like, I feel like what I've seen so far in this list, it can go into the KEFKA plant with a little bit more flexibility. And this is like the more true, like mid-rangey build of it, where this is a pile of like really good cards that are just within Grixis colors. But looking at the Tarfire?
Yeah, I thought it was neat.
What about it?
I just thought it was neat.
That's an interesting card. I don't know if it's a good card, but it's an interesting card.
Namely?
You know what is actually really interesting about this card?
What?
So it gives a creature +3/-3, right? Yeah. So potentially like big target that this spell in particular wants to hit is probably a Draenith, if I had to guess.
Oh, okay.
So the interesting thing about the tribal spells and it having the creature typing within it, I would almost bet that if they're playing Cavern of Souls, they can generate the black mana off of Cavern of Souls to cast this and make this an uncounterable removal for Draenith.
Pretty good.
Or opposition agent or anything like that. That is what I would bank on, and I see the Cavern right there.
Because it's every creature type.
Yeah.
So
it would be an uncounterable removal spell for Oppo, Draenith, like things like that. That's if that is what that is doing, that's pretty big brain.
I'm so glad that I have you to look at some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Dumb as rocks, brother. Other than that, I still see the greatest enchant or greatest artifact in the game.
I fucking hate that card.
Notably not on One Ring in this list.
I don't think they need to be. That's fine.
That's fair. Bloodchief
Ascension, but no Mind Crank.
Who cares?
I mean, if they're ripping hands apart, it doesn't matter, right?
So, yeah.
So,
anything else you want to talk about this list though?
No, I will say, and they're on the Ghostly Flicker too, again in this. So like what I really like about this list, I feel like that this is, Like I even had conversations with people this past weekend at the event we played in. Like I felt like with other decks like Najila or Kenrith or anything like that, you kind of have to go one way or another. It's really difficult to kind of meet in the middle and stretch. KEFKA is one of those decks where you could kind of meet in the middle and go with whatever direction you need to at any given moment. That's why I actually think that this is a pretty. I would, if I was taking a Grixis list right now, it'd be KEFKA. That's if I was taking it to events. That's what I would be playing right now. It just seems really good. That yes, they are on like the Ghostly Flickers and the Essence Flux and Displacer Kittens to make use of the KEFKA ability, but they're just playing really solid Grixis cards too. Seeing Mirror Maid kind of pop up in their enchantments package, like being able to make additional Rhystic studies, that kind of tells me like, hey, they're just in it for the mid game as well. But if they have the opportunity to go into the KEFKA plan, they're going to take it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I like it. That's solid. That's sweet. Good list. Congrats. In 6th place, we have Seth Meyer on Thrasios Timna with 2 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws.
This looks like Timna Thrash.
It looks like TNT.
It does. It looks like Timna Thrash.
This is it. Nope. Moving on next.
Yeah, straight up. No. Retraction Helix Lines, Swords of Ladomeries, very interactive. On the Basalt, Mystic Rhystic, Wild Growth, Carpet, Survival Tithe. 28 lands. Yeah, brother, I'm not gonna lie. I have nothing.
Yeah,
I have nothing to add on this list. This list is what we've come to know as TNT.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people I feel like right now that are on TNT that are kind of really experimenting with the list, and like this is one of those. I feel like it's pretty like solid as far as like what the main game plan for TNT has been traditionally. What are you saying, bud? Talk to me.
I just hang on. Let me make sure I'm not tripping.
You tripping?
Okay, yeah, no, I don't understand. I take that. Yeah, I don't get it. They're on Devoted Druid, but they're not on Swift and they're not on Machine Gods.
But they're on Hazels.
They're on Hazels. Sorry, I was like missing something. I was
what? Here, I was about to get to things. Okay,
look, bro, I was looking and I missed the Hazels. Okay,
it's okay. It's okay. We forgive you. So here's what I kind of see standing out as far as what I'm looking at in this list.
Yep.
So they are on the Devoted, the Hazels, and the Survival of the Fittest to kind of make it easier to assemble. They're on the Thassa's Oracle, obviously. They're actually on Ewit Snap, which is kind of cool. You don't see that a lot in TNT packages, but it makes sense. And they're actually on the Valley Flood Caller Retraction Helix as well. Both having the Ewit Snap, which we talked about earlier on one of the other decks, but the Retraction Helix and the Valley Flood Caller as well, just having additional ways to produce infinite mana. I think that it does seem really interesting that they're not on at least Swift Recon. I feel like in this list, it's typically the Swift reconfiguration and then the Hazels. You won't usually see the Machine God's effigy in most decks, I think, outside of things like maybe Kennen at times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, it's just like the core of what TNT actually is. I think the only other like truly different thing that I'm kind of seeing in this is that they're on Mana Drain.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, like that might seem a little bit out of place, but maybe with a deck that's kind of been struggling here recently to like pick up speed, maybe they're going a little bit more into the control and creature combo type things to kind of compensate for that.
Mm-hmm.
And Mana Drain just being a pretty decent payoff as far as like 2 blue, counter whatever you need to, and then you make more mana during one of your main phases. Like that's not bad. I'm seeing the Basalt Monolith here in the artifacts. So that's something I feel like a lot of TNT players have kind of been off of recently, just going into the Kennen plan with that. But I mean, it doesn't hurt. It's not a bad include. It works for the game plan. It's something that I feel like we've seen kind of fallen off in these lists. Wild Growth is kind of interesting, but at the same time, if you're doing the snap stuff, like you can just enchant the land and then be able to, make more mana of whatever you need to. So Actually, if they're doing that, why would they not be on Utopia Sprawl instead? I know green is like the predominant color of the deck, and that's what you really want to go for. But Utopia Sprawl, being able to enchant like even your Gaia's Cradle with that, and then picking blue or something, and then being able to make additional blue mana or whatever you need to. With the Ewit Snap line, like, I don't know, definitely interesting there. But other than that, everything else seems what we have come to know of TNT.
Yep, I agree.
Congrats, Seth, on 6th place. In 5th place, we have Mahali on Zuladok Voidgorger with 3 wins and 3 losses. Now, before we started doing this, you were saying that this is actually the guy that recently did the deck tech with Ian, right?
Yes, that was seamless. That was beautiful. For those of you who did not know, we just had a terrible mishap. And so I asked Chase if he would redo it, and he was like, no. And then he finally did it. But no, Mahali was, so they were the person that Ian did like a deck tech video where he was talking about the deck. And I can't remember, I don't remember what it was that motivated him to want to play Zuladok. I think he said he was playing a different colorless commander, and he was trying like different combos. And he was just noticing that like the deck was just so slow. And so he kept trying to just like rework it and rework it and rework it and rework it until eventually he has made it what it is. And he actually won a big event with the Zuladog deck. Like I think it was as far as I know in like recent time, like it was one of the only like big tournament wins that I remember seeing with like a colorless commander, which is just crazy. But yeah. You're more familiar with like the colorless like win cons and combos and things like that.
No, I'm not.
I thought you were.
No, dude. Whenever I started playing, I played fucking Urtet. It might be colorless, but it's technically 5 colors. So
didn't you say there was like combos with like untapping stuff or like doing stuff to take infinite turns and like things like that?
Well, so if we are scrolling down here and we're looking at like the artifacts in particular, because there's fucking 42 artifacts in this list. There's lines that I'm kind of seeing that's probably with like the Basalt Monolith. Did I pass Grim Monolith and like Forsaken Monument being able to, more so in particular, I think the Basalt more so Basalt than Grim. Basalt and the Forsaken Monument, you will make infinite mana within this, infinite colorless mana, which it doesn't matter because all your shit's colorless anyway. There's probably a bunch, I want to say there's probably a bunch of untapped things within this. Am I seeing the Clock of Omens is in there. So probably just being able to continuously untap things. This Chromatic Orrery in here is, I guess, just you're making a bunch of colorless mana, so why the fuck not? You're obviously not using the card draw portion of it because you don't have any colors in there. I don't know. This is, I'm trying to think.
Yeah, brother, I have no idea. I guess you're just cascading just over and over and over and over and over.
Shit, I guess. I don't fucking know.
Dude, I don't have a clue. Okay, look, guys, if y'all want to know what this deck actually does, don't listen to us. Go listen to Ian, who's way better at the game than us, and also had the guy that actually piloted the deck on the channel.
Yeah, let them fucking explain it, because I don't know. Like, there should be a bunch of ways of just being able to untap things. He's including things like Candelabra and an Expedition map. So it kind of leads me to believe that there's a lot of utility lands that allow him to continue to do things. You could do infinite treasures with the treasure vault. Like, I don't know. There's so many ways of just producing like infinite mana. It feels like in this deck, like to me, it's like almost an overkill of it. But yeah, I don't know.
Do you just like go to combat beats and kill the table with that? Like,
I don't know, dude. This is wild. This is
Yeah, I have no idea. That was my best shot.
I mean, that was your best shot. I mean, to me, I think you were kind of on this right track where it's just like, okay, you make infinite mana, you drop a bunch of things, you cascade a lot, I mean, even metalworker combos within this. I guess if you're running Wandering Archaic, it doesn't matter if you have counter magic in this because who's going to pay half the time anyway.
Is there a way to like loop Emrakul? You just like take everybody's turns.
I wonder if there's a way to loop the Ulamog and the Kozilek in order to just do like, here, let me exile everything and draw a bunch of cards and then shuffle my library again and mill everyone out somehow.
Damn.
I don't know. Our 2 brain cells are not.
They're not clicking. They're
trying to click, but they ain't clicking.
I don't know anything about colorless. That was the best I had. That's what you get. That's what you get. I'm dumb. That's what you get.
Yeah, we're just not smart whenever it comes to these things, I guess.
We are simple people.
Yeah, we are good with some of the actual cEDH decks, and then anytime it goes off what we don't know, people will let us know in the comments and be like, "You guys are fucking stupid."
Let us know how this deck wins, please.
Yeah, please. Or just go watch that video. Maybe we have to go watch that video after this.
I've already watched it, and I don't even know this deck.
Yeah.
So I was being honest.
That's wild. All right, congrats on this place. All right, in 4th place, we have Kyle Wilson with KORVOLD, Fey Cursed King, with 3 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws.
Fun fact. That's a good card. So Kyle is from the channel That's a Good Card, a cEDH podcast. So if you guys aren't already going and watching them, him and Yob will do discussions and like debate each other on cards in cEDH that they think could or could not be a good card. So definitely go check them out. They're a group of really, really good guys. So go check them out. And watch us completely miss half the combos in Kyle's list.
I mean, some of the combos we've already talked about because it looks like to me that he is also on the Landfall version.
Oh yeah. His it's like a Regicide Landfall KORVOLD is yeah. He's been playing this list for a hot minute. He actually played this on Critical's channel.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the thing that kind of stands out to me a little bit more. I don't remember if the other list was on Mayhem Devil.
I don't know.
I don't remember that. But then I'm also seeing the Witherbloom Apprentice, so I'm assuming that the Chain of Smog combo's in here. And then also he has Dosen.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense in my opinion.
Yeah, so those seem like the main like differences. I don't remember if I saw the Orcish Lumberjacks or not, but like I would assume that card was also in the other list because it just seems fitting for this. Seeing the Ice Tail Explorer pop up here in the 99. I think that's pretty cool because that seems like a really solid card right now. Like this is actually a card I'm like, even though it's 4 CMC, I'm debating on putting it in Flubs too. You know, Flubs might not be a landfall deck, but Flubs needs to play more lands to keep going. So being able to not only play additional lands for the turn, but also being able to mill yourself and fuel your graveyard, so that way then you could continue to do like the Aftermath Analyst or the Lumra stuff.
Yeah.
Solid. Like it's really good.
I feel like Ice Tail Explorer would be so good in Flubs too, though, where like when you end up in those weird janky spots where you have like you were technically going to end up getting stopped because like you start the turn with like an even number of cards and you can like play a land or you cast something and then you have to discard and then you're like, well, pass the turn.
I just fucking forgot about that part. I forgot about it being able to do that.
You're just like, well, I'll just play this land from my graveyard for turn and then now we're cooking and I'm back online, baby.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, no, this is I like the inclusion of that. I like the inclusion of the Witherbloom because I think even whenever you're playing a list like this and like people are like, oh, they're in the lands deck, like that's still a combo that catches people off guard. If they're not ready to counter the Chain of Smog, then you just slam it down and you win. Yeah. Right. So that's kind of cool to see here. Obviously, we saw the 6, the Life from the Loam thing. So most likely we're on the LED and we're just drawing a bunch of cards and getting we're mailing ourselves out and doing all the things with that.
Yeah, that's one of the nice things. Which for people that aren't aware, because like it can be confusing. But when you sack the LED, obviously KORVOLD it gives you a draw trigger to basically like put +1/+1 draw the card. But then with Life from the Loam, you can instead dredge and put that card back in your hand. So you are essentially discarding your card, but then you're returning 3 land cards from your graveyard to your hand. for the dredge, and you have the mana to cast the card because you just sacked the LED. So like you can just continue to like.
You do that, and not only are you continuing to produce whatever mana you need, you're also milling 3 cards. So that way, it's kind of like a pseudo breach line, except you're not escaping things. You are just retracing it, and maybe to some extent it's a little bit better than breach. That might be a controversial hot take. But within these colors, at least, like when you have access to 6, you have access to a commander where it is the engine and you can continue to draw cards that way. Like that combo is so sick. And plus, I think he's on breach to begin with. So like, yeah, it just, there's so much synergies there with it. And if someone gets going with it, it's kind of hard to stop at that point. Plus, you get the 3 lands back. You basically cast whatever permanent you want to at that point. Like if you needed to, if you hit the Lumra, that's just whatever you go off. I feel like at that point.
What with the?
Yeah, you just hit the Lumra. You got to put all your lands.
Are you talking about with like the retrace thing or with the LED?
Like once you've done that once you've done the retrace stuff enough to where like you've made all this mana and you've milled out enough. Like once you hit that Lumra.
Oh yeah,
I feel like okay, now it's time to go. You just do the Lumra stuff and then like mill even more, but get all your lands back. And then you probably have things on board for the landfall triggers and shit like that. Like
oh yeah. Well, and that's one of the nice things, like what you were just saying, like 6 plus the LED and then like the life from the loam. Like if the KORVOLD trigger, you're constantly getting to like loop that line, just keep adding lands back, adding them back as you're like milling through your deck, mill. Eventually you'll hit the breach, cast the breach.
Yep.
Because like you're floating mana every single time that you're doing this. Like you'll net a mana. So eventually you start to net mana and then eventually you're going to retrace the breach and just win the game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of hard to lose when you have your whole deck in your...
When you have access to your entire... Well, and even if it's like, oh, breach gets counter... Oh, no, it wasn't a mind break trap. I'm just going to continue to do the retrace stuff and I'm going to recast the breach anyway. So
heck yeah, dude. No, and I think Rain of Filth effects go so hard in this, like that and Squandered Resources.
Oh, yeah.
God, that's so good.
Yeah.
Black Market Connections and KORVOLD goes hard, too. But yeah. Man, I don't really have anything else to say about the deck, though.
Anything else.
Really
we'll
cool.
probably get comments on how we missed half the lines, but that's okay.
Nah, who cares?
So, congrats, Kyle, on 4th place.
Yep, congrats.
Okay, in 3rd place, we have Isaiah Wright on Sisay with 3 wins, 1 loss, and 3 draws. Apparently, this Sisay player was kicking ass this event. So, let's take a look at this list. What?
Never mind.
What?
Never mind.
No, go ahead and say it.
No. I'm done with Hill. I'm done.
Say what you go say.
I was going to talk about my Staxy Sisay list that I was telling you about, but then I realized Ashiok says spells and abilities your opponents control can't cause them. It doesn't work with my weird little goofy line.
Oh my god, no. No, it does not. So, kind of taking a look through this. Okay, there are some interesting things with this. It does look like a slightly Staxier version of Sisay from what I can tell. So, and I think what's notable is when you're looking at the top here, like we see some of the traditional stuff, but we're not seeing the traditional things at the same time. So it not having the Nicol Bolas here in the 99 and actually opting to do Ashiok instead kind of tells me, okay, this is an oathless list. So let's kind of take a look. Obviously, we're on the Aminatou, Dahada, Tyvar. We're on good walkers that we want to be on, with the exception of the Nicol Bolas, because we're not doing the traditional lines. If we scroll down, we look at the creatures. As far as creature combo stuff that I'm seeing right away, obviously we're on the Derevi. I'm going to assume that, the mill is right there. Some interesting stuff. They are on the Marvin Iorith line, so we actually had a discussion about that line this past weekend. Basically, those of you that might not be familiar with it, if you have Marvin Iorith and like another legendary like Dork or a legendary that can tap for mana, whether that be like Savala, if you have a Seek out and that's turned on all your legendaries, if you have Enduring Vitality out, basically you kind of go back and forth with the Iorith and the Marvin producing infinite mana. That way, if you tap down the Marvin and that whatever the legendary is for mana, you tap down Iorith to untap both of them. You tap down the legendary creature to make mana. You tap Marvin down to untap Iorith and that creature again, and you can make infinite colored mana from there. Rocco is kind of a very interesting include in this because I feel like that was a legendary that's almost fallen out of favor at times after Dockside got banned. So seeing Rocco there in the 99 is kind of cool, but it does add it's 3 color pips, and if you need to, you can just go and get something else that's not a legendary out and be able to do things from there. I'm sure, like I'm seeing Bowmaster, I'm seeing Boromir. Um, I think Boromir and this Jarenia Dauntless General in particular, like being able to protect your own board state, and especially since Sisai plays a lot of humans anyway, um, mostly protecting Sisay, I feel like in those. But it's still kind of cool to see that tech here. I'm looking at this Brina. That's a card I've seen kind of pop up a couple times. Within Sisay, I'm trying, but it's always it's always an interesting include. Like obviously, like it's a 3-drop, so it's already fighting for a lot of spots in most Sisay decks because the 3 spot gets really really tight at times. But black is a really hard color to hit, so it seems fitting if we're trying to go for this version of it, where it's like we're not doing the oath stuff, we're not doing pod things, and I don't think they're on Underworld Breach. Yeah, they're not on Breach. So if they're doing something that can actually buff Sisay and draw you more cards and things like that, like that's probably what it's trying to do. Najila kind of popping up in the 99. I guess if they needed to. I mean, they're already playing Derevi. Obviously, they're not playing Samut, but which has been a combo we've seen at times in Sisay, especially the Elk build version of it, because they'll actually include the Najila combos and give all your creatures haste and be able to continue doing combats and untapping stuff with Derevi to pay for the Najila cost on stuff. Trying to think of however else it kind of gets there. I mean, you could do that with Selvala too, or the Fabro, or anything like they have Bloom Tender. Yeah, the Bloom Tender being able to, like you could put so much out there on the battlefield, really, with the colors that your creatures are offering. That the Wooburg tapping down for Wooburg is probably not even that hard in this deck. The Draina and Linvala. We actually talked to Drew from Lemon Pepper Wet. I think he was on that card as far as being able to remove the activated abilities of creatures your opponents control, and then Draina and Linvala actually gets that. So again, another Staxy piece. This Dana hair, I know I butchered that. It's another way, kind of like Tyvar, being able to give things like pseudo haste, so kind of turns on things right away. Feldar Guardian without pod is, and without Kiki Jiki there, is interesting. So I don't know exactly what the game plan for that is. Couldn't tell you right away. But even whenever we were kind of going over this and I initially saw this list, Kenrith in the 99 as well. Like this is a deck that goes, let's put other 5-color commanders in here and just have them all under Sisay. And then let's focus on, like, we don't have to go into just the Sisay plan. We could draw out the table with Kenrith. We can go into infinite combats. We can do a bunch of different things that is not common to the list. So those are the main things I'm kind of pointing out. And I might have missed a few things just because this is like a list you don't typically see, I feel like, with Sisay. So there is that. I'm looking at the sorceries. That seems just about right as far as really low sorcery count. Even some like traditional lists are just on Demonic Tutor, it seems. All the cats are coming out now. The interaction, they're actually pretty high on their interaction package, which I think is kind of a good move. They're actually playing a ton of counter spells and removal. So kudos to that person, because most Sisay lists are like, even though that's about the right instant count, somewhere between like 16 to 20, most lists aren't playing that much interaction, so that's kind of cool to see. Really low on the artifact package, but I'm assuming if they're just producing on making a bunch of mana through their dorks and like the Marvin stuff and Derevi and trying to get to that a lot faster, then that's fine. Looking at the enchantments, they are on Leyline of the Guild Pack, so I mean, if that's in their opening hand and they just put it down, like boom, they could just drop a Ragavan and then they have all 5 colors, so it buffs your Sisay tremendously. Tiny Bones joins up, so that's kind of cool to see here, because that whenever that card got spoiled, I actually thought about putting it in Sisay at one point. Basically, if you do the Derevia mill line and then you have Tiny Bones joins up, you just drain the table and mill them all out. So it's another instant speed win line in this build. So that's kind of neat to see. Same thing with Blind Obedience. Maybe I feel like that might even just be more of a piece to just slow down the table, honestly, than it is as an actual combo piece here. And then just seeing 28 lands, they're on Manamo, which I've thought about testing out in Sisay. They're on Agathas. They're not on the One Ring. They might be using it just to untap things like Solvala, honestly, or the Iorith if it for some reason kind of gets stopped. Like if someone tries to interact in the middle of that line, and then you go, oh, I'm gonna blue Manamo, untap Iorith, continue doing what I need to do, or for the Cradle stuff as well.
Have you told the funny tech of the Forbidden Orchard?
Are they on Forbidden Orchard?
Yeah, they're on Forbidden Orchard.
Yeah, so it's almost like the forbidden tech of Sisay. But basically, if you have Forbidden Orchard on the field and you assemble the Derevi mill line, you go and get you start producing infinite colored mana through the Forbidden Orchard after dumping it into like any of the dorks that produce like multiples or Gaia's Cradle, and then you start giving your opponents infinite creature tokens, and then you go and get Deadpool, and then you exchange the text box of all the creature tokens you just produced, and you go and all their creatures on board, and you go, good game. Because like say if they're on the Teferi, okay, during their upkeep they can't cast anything because they can only do things at sorcery speed. Now they have all of these fucking creatures that is going to say like produce or bolt them for 3. Like even on like the Turbo Cradle decks, I don't think they can produce enough mana for infinite. Well, I mean they could, but I don't think enough to just like pay and sacrifice all the creatures. Unless they could somehow get away around it. But yeah, and that's kind of a dangerous line to do.
Yeah,
but we've
even talked about it though. Like even if they are on like let's say a Cradle deck, like even if they don't have, I don't know, you don't have the Teferi to like lock them down like that, you're still going to exchange the text box of something like a Thrasios with this too. So it's not like they're just going to be able to pump a ton of mana in Thrasios.
Absolutely.
They're just going to be like, oh no.
Oh no, that's wild.
That's wild.
Sorry, Trevor. But yeah, there's some cool things in this list. It is a lot different, but I think that this is a pattern that we're starting to see with Sisay. Not necessarily like the STAX pieces or like the Kinrith and the Najeela stuff, but we're starting to see pilots kind of go off of the Oath line in the traditional route. So cool to see Sisay in this top 4 here of this event. So congrats, Isaiah.
Part 2.
All right, so part 2. In second place, we have Joshua Montgomery on another Sisay list with 3 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. So let's take a look at the differences in this. Let me just kind of process things for a moment.
All good. I'm just gonna slowly scroll through the list. Also on Kinrith.
That's. Am I missing something? Should I be on Kinrith? I
mean, it buffs Sisay.
Oh, not only does it do that, it's an infinite mana payout that you win at instant speed. I didn't mention that in the last. I didn't mention that in the last one. But literally, if you have all the mana to do the stuff, like it gives you a way of being able to just draw everyone out. So I mean, it's a good payoff. It's just the 5 spot is kind of odd. Yeah, you can go and get it off of a cultist, but I feel like there are other targets you want to grab whenever you've done like the cultist lines. But let's kind of take a look at this list. So the Planeswalker, there's 3 of them on here in particular. Those same from the last list. The Saheeli. Oh, that's what I was fucking forgetting. The Felidar Guardian and Saheeli. That does combo. So that's probably why the Felidar Guardian was in the last list. I didn't think about that. But interesting choices with Wrenn and 6, which I've tried running before. And you can kind of utilize Wrenn as a backup to Saheeli in the traditional list, but they're not on the traditional list because they're not on Amanatu and they're not on Nicobolas. So I would assume 2-drop Planeswalker that fixes one of your colors for Sisay, because red is another color that's really hard to hit. And you can recur your lands, so that way you're ensuring that you're not just dependent on your rocks and your dorks, you're actually getting more lands to hand. So that way you can, if you need to filter through your deck, you can, drop a fetch, be able to do it. Then +1 Wrenn, get your fetch back. Next turn being able to continue filtering out your deck. This Teferi who slows the sunset. Now, I think this is one that Ian has obviously made very popular in his most recent build for Sisay. It's really, really strong. It's very, very strong. You can either utilize it to slow down your opponents in a way where if you choose things on their board state, you can tap their stuff down. But really, that +1 ability in Sisay goes nuts. Think about it. If you have... Say if you even have Selvala and Marvin out, and Sisay is big enough, you can untap both of them, because you can target the Marvin for the artifact part, you can target the Selvala for the creature part, and then say fuck it, you have Gaia's Cradle out. Guess what? You can untap Gaia's Cradle as well. So that's a lot of flexibility. I haven't scrolled down far enough to see whether or not the Chromatic Orrery was in there, but that +1 ability is insane in Sisay. And then if for some reason you're able to ult it, you basically have a Seaborn Muse effect.
That's an emblem.
Yeah, it's stupid. But let's kind of look at these creatures. The Jarina and the Denahair popping up again. One kind of giving the pseudo haste ability, just like I was talking about before, and then also protecting more of your stuff. Orcish Bowmaster, I didn't touch on it too much with the last list, but that is another instant speed win, where if you're able to do the Derevia Mill stuff and you get Kenna and then you do flips until you hit the Bowmaster, you could just infinitely flicker the Bowmaster and just shoot the table. Interesting that they're on Endurance. I don't know why. But, okay, let me rephrase that. I do know why, because they're on Kenrith. I would assume if they need to just draw more cards, and then or if they're just trying to stop a breach or things like that. That's what I'm going to assume it's mostly there for.
Well, it's also recursion for you, right? Because didn't you say it's really hard to recur stuff in this deck once it hits the graveyard?
It is. It is really hard to hit things in the deck. It's just a piece you don't typically see, I think, in Sisay, so it does kind of throw me off. It would almost lead me to believe that the Fairy Mastermind would have been in here, because you have the Kennen, and it's Sisay, so they're probably playing some other type as well. But I don't know. I'm not seeing that there. Let's see. Just as much as I was talking about the Forbidden Orchard line, you can do the same. If they're on Forbidden Orchard, you could do the same thing with Urtai and draw everyone out.
They're on Forbidden Orchard.
Okay, so they have 2 combos with Forbidden Orchard between the Deadpool and the Urtai Resurrected. Seeing the Thassa's Oracle here in the 99. I think it's a good call with the way the meta is right now. Just being able to jam out an early win, just doing Thoracle stuff, seems fine. Polywog. So what I do like about Polywog, one, it will probably trigger most of the time. The Evolve will probably trigger most of the time. Even though it is a forced draw, I think that the Sisay decks right now that are kind of not being shy to card draw are performing really well. And I think that shows. We're seeing 2 Sisay decks in the top of this. So, that's pretty cool. I like the inclusion of Sakashima. I'm not personally on it right now, just because I feel like 4-drop spot is also kind of a tight spot where you're limited, but being able to clone something right now is not bad. This is where it gets a little bit more interesting for me, is that I just made the comment on the other list that Sisay typically is usually pretty low on interaction. That last list was pretty high on interaction, but not other spells. This one has 24 instances in it. Yeah. And it's almost running a really full counter package between the Pact and Offer, the Flusterstorm, Loose Walls, Mental, Strix, which I really like in Sisay because it actually handles the 2 biggest threats, being Cursed Totem and Opposition Agent. Delay, which is something you don't typically see in this. And then we're on the Mindbreak Trap and the Force of Will, which is correct. But there's some interesting picks with that. Long Goodbye. I know Bill runs this in his pod list, and it's not bad. It actually really gets rid of like, you know, 2 of SeaEDH's like main threats, as far as like, even though I was talking just then on Strix hitting more so Oppo, Draenith can also be a really big threat to SeaEDH sometimes. Not as much as other decks though that are more commander centric, I almost feel like, but Strix also takes care of that. Long Goodbye is just really good because it'll hit just about anything you need to. Looking at, it's really, really low on artifacts. What you doing over there?
Looking at the artifacts.
Looking at the artifacts. Okay. Yeah, really, 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 really low on artifact count, which is kind of surprising, but I don't know. That one's peculiar to me, but at the same time, if they're opting for more interaction, I think that's kind of the next place to start cutting is your artifacts and your lands in this deck. And then obviously on the enchantments, Cultist is there. Deafening Silence, pilots used to be on this quite a bit, but not as much here recently. But in this meta where like creature combos are really powerful, if they stick around long enough, having a creature deck being able to shut off as much other interaction as it can seems good.
Yeah, I think that this is a card that just kind of guarantees you win those like stack wars, I guess, because like somebody tries to combo, they go, Thoracle Consult, and they've used their one non-creature, and you're like, okay, I'm going to offer.
Yep.
And then they go, and then another person goes, oh yeah, I'm going to cast Underworld Breach, and you're like, go for it.
Yeah.
You know? And they're like, oh no, you know, and then, yeah, so like it's one of them things where I like that. I think that that's a good way, especially now you're running all the extra interactive pieces. Do they really want to burn that you go to cast something and it's like, do I really want to burn my one counterspell that I'm going to get for the turn right now, or do I want to interact? And if they interact at the wrong point, then you're like, perfect, you just go off.
Yep. So yeah, and I think that both these decks, even though there's some kind of similarities in there, like I think it's still proving the reason why SeaEDH is starting to pop up more and more in events and performing well, especially within the past couple of months, is because you sit, and I made the point like within the past couple of weeks, you sit down at a table against SeaEDH and you don't really know what the fuck is about to happen. Like if you're not used to playing against that person or you haven't seen them play before, SeaEDH is just one of those top 10 decks that's like, it gives you Brewer's advantage most of the time, just because you can play a bunch of like odd stuff that people just don't expect, and it just kind of comes out of nowhere. Like they think they have the general SeaEDH like idea what it's going to do, and then you play pieces that are in this list or even the previous one, and they go, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know how to stop this. I don't know when to interact. So it's a really relevant threat right now. So congrats on second place finish. And finally, in first place, we have Luke Files on Arkham Dagson with 5 wins, 0 losses, and 1 draw.
Man.
Mono blue getting it out.
Yep. I'm just going to, real quick, Thoracle. What?
What were you expecting?
Not that. I was envisioning a lot of stacks pieces. Thoracle. What the fuck? Excuse the language. Sorceries, lots of interaction. They're on Trick Bind. Dude, this is like just counters basically in there. They're on Hydroblast. Are they on the blue elemental? No.
I could be wrong. But hear me out.
Yep.
I think that this is like a more turbo version
of Dagson.
Yeah. Of Dagson. And I could be wrong.
Brother, I 100% agree with you.
But I think this is a more turbo-y version of Arkham Dagson. Yeah, seeing the instances package as nothing but pretty much counter magic. Like, yeah, there's Born Upon the Wind, Psych Rift. There's a couple of removal pieces, but looks like interaction out the ass with Seagate as your only sorcery, being able to just have no max hand size. You draw a bunch of fucking cards. You get out all the artifacts that you need. Like, yeah, there's like what? The only stacks piece I'm seeing right now is the God Pharaoh statue and the portal. That's about it.
Yeah, dude, they're even on like the clone. They're the Mind Over Matter with the one ring just draws your whole deck. They're on the clone.
They're on that plan. They're on that Paul Tech. Yeah, this to me seems like just a very like aggressive like Arkham Daxon.
Yep. This is crazy. What do they have? I was looking for the ring. This is just nuts. What the heck? Okay, yeah, this is Turbo Arkham.
That's what it seems like. That's pretty cool,
dude. That's wild. Okay, that's not at all what I was expecting out of this list, especially not no daggone Thassa's Oracle. they just draw their whole deck, I guess, and then cast the Oracle. Like, what the heck?
I guess so.
What was their final record?
5, or technically speaking, 5-0-1.
Would it be 5-0 or would it be 6-0-1? Because they won a top 16 game and then they won their finals game.
I don't know. It says 5-0-1 right there.
Really?
Yeah. Which means there were 6 rounds total, probably. So maybe they did like the top 4 Swiss cut to top 16 and then a final. That's what it'd have to be, right?
Well, would it be cut to top 10 and then he got a bye? Did any of the other?
No, because it's over 60 players, so they would have done cut to top 16.
2-2-2. No, I think it would have had to have been, right? Because all these people played 6 games. But then the only people with 3. Wait, go back up real quick. I'm sorry. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, the only 2 people with 7 games are the Isaiah and Kyle. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, they cut to top 10, and then these 2 people got buys. They made it in, but then they had an extra loss.
Okay.
So 5 wins, 1 loss. That's pretty solid. Yeah. No, 1 draw.
1 draw. They didn't lose.
Wow.
They went undefeated.
Undefeated on Arkham Daxon.
Yeah.
Dude.
They weren't ready for it.
I'm telling you. This is going to segue perfect into what I wanted to talk about next week.
What?
Is Blue Farm really the best? No, I'm just...
Well, a couple weeks.
Sure.
A couple weeks right now at this point. But yeah. No.
All I know is...
Yeah, this list is wild. That's what it seems like to me. It does not feel like a Staxy version that we have come to see with the mono blue list, whether it be Arkham or Urza or anything like that. We are turbo, getting aggressive, dropping all the good artifacts that we need to, drawing out our deck, slamming a Thassa's.
Could you imagine?
Winning.
You just see that moment where there's nobody with answers. Somebody's Thoracle consulting or Thoracle tainted pacting, and they're just like, oh man, like I'm gonna get there, and you just say, commandeer, I'm gonna take your tainted pact, and then they just go down to like their last card in their deck, and you're like, what was that for? And then you go to your turn, you draw for a turn, and then they just play a Thassa's Oracle and win the game in Arkham Daxon.
Yeah,
just something stupid. This list is stupid. This is so funny. I don't mean that in a negative way. This list is hilarious.
That's pretty cool.
This is sick.
That's a cool list.
I was not expecting Turbo Arkham.
Maybe this will win the Invitational this weekend.
That's what I was going to say.
Or Steel City.
Blue Farm better watch out.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody ready for Turbo Arkham Daxon.
No, not at all. We were not prepared for that. So.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I think that this event had a really cool top 16. Even though, we saw some repeats, especially in KEFKA. We saw like really different builds in KEFKA. We saw 2 lands decks. We saw 3 decks in this that typically do not place between the Rionia, the Tasigur, and the Zuladoc. And we have this mono blue dude just getting aggressive with the artifacts. So that's neat. That's cool. Were there any other interesting lists in this?
What, just like in the thing? I told you there was a Ludwig Timna that I thought was interesting. Sammy, some actual Lumras, Aranus Street Urchin. Oh, there's a Kiri Thress.
Oh,
what?
The Rayhan Rograk. There was a Rayhan. I'm looking at the meta share. There's someone on Jund Rograk.
Yep, right here.
Yeah. You just said the Sammy one, right? Sammy, yes. Wildcat Captain. So we're seeing another commander from the new set popping up. There's one Zur.
4 draws. This poor soul.
I feel bad for them. I understand that pain. Yeah. This seemed like a really diverse event. You know, even though there was a lot of KEFKA lost to say, like, hold on. There's only 2 blue forms, and neither one of them were in the top. So,
where's the first blue form?
I don't know.
Oh, they're right next to each other. 47th and 48th place.
Wow.
2 losses, 3 draws, 3 losses, 2
I think then that is the segue to here in a couple weeks. We just, I guess, spoilers to prepare you all. Blake talked about how he wanted to record today of, is Blue Farm actually the best deck in the format? Because we had a discussion on this, like what our thoughts were on Blue Farm on the way down to the event we went to this past weekend. And so I think we're going to wait for the Invitational and Steel City and things like that to really have that discussion. But let us know your thoughts on that. So maybe we could bring up some of the talking points that you all have in that podcast episode. So that'd be a cool one.
That would be a good one. I'm excited now.
So, well, anything else from this event?
Congrats to everybody that did well.
Yeah.
Kyle, your LANDFALL KORVOLD list always amazes me.
Yeah.
One day I'll be a good KORVOLD pilot too. Probably not. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Y'all keep killing it on That's a Good Card.
Yeah.
And if you're not already, go check out Dude's Discord. Go check out Critical's Discord. Go join the league. Just go play a ton of SeaEDH.
As always.
Yeah, go play some SeaEDH.